I'm Pops, and welcome. Let's do another movie review. This is Honor Society. This is a film that dropped recently on Hulu. Hmm. This one, this one pulled me in a couple different ways on liking and disliking it, and hopefully you'll kind of see where I'm at here on this overall thing as I go through it. The film really is kind of an interesting. So the character is called Honor. Honor Society is a weird spin on the fact that it centers around basically a few of the elite students in this high school. But basically, it's just her breaking the fourth wall, talking to you in the audience pretty much the whole time. And it's about the competition to get into this elite school because this one teacher has a connection to write this special recommendation, basically to get them into Harvard. So the film doesn't start off good for me at all, right? So there's a camera moves around the room. You see all of these extreme feminist nonsense, right? She's into essentials oils and yoga. And she says, well, I don't really care about all this stuff, but they're the gods of my people and I worship them or I'm an outcast. And I'm like, oh, gosh, what have I gotten myself into? Oh, and then she posts these photos or she's showing us photos of like Instagram. She's like, oh, these are so people will envy me and girls will want to be my friend and guys will, just want me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, the narcissism. And then she starts in about Handmaid's Tale. Oh, it's the real thing. And I'm like, no, 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 no. Oh gosh, no. So she's talking about her family. Dad's into like this project and working all these jobs and taking care of her, but she's like this unappreciative little brat. She doesn't appreciate her mom making bread, and she just kind of rambles in this very conceited, narcissistic way, basically. So the story basically moves along pretty quick in that she again, I have to be honest. I paused because I'm like, who did all of this? And I went through these people, and these are not likable people. And it's like a guy who wrote this. Like they got this woman, this Oran Zegman, who's described as award winning, and I'm like, what? They're like, all they've done is IMDb shorts. That doesn't count as award winning, does it? Anyway, um, yeah, I don't know. It's just this weird glaring positive review that I read. I was like, what on earth am I looking at? So it all centers around this creepy teacher named Mr. Calvin. And he basically has the key to this connection that he's had to write this recommendation to Harvard. Honor is all about just trying to do this because she just wants to get away, right? It's all about that. In any cliche, every little step, she's explaining how she's manipulating people and using people or manipulating or using the system. And that's pretty much it. She's extremely unlikable. And this guidance counselor, or whatever he's supposed to be, he is in his office. Like, I think at one point he has his shoes off playing a guitar. Anyway, he's trying to get kids to come to his concert and then convincing her to. And just it's total creeper mode. And basically he drops the bomb that she's in the top 4 or whatever, or top 2 or something. I don't know how it's put. And it doesn't matter because there's 4 kids, right? So the first kid is Travis. He's the jock. He plays lacrosse. His dad is the coach. He's the good-looking guy with the super hot, cute girlfriend, right? And then you have Kennedy, who like dresses up as like costumes that no one gets, but she talks about it on Facebook and no one is following her. So that's really sad. But she's extremely weird, reclusive Asian teen. Anyway, it's fine. And then there's like the nerdy kid, right? Which is basically Dustin from Stranger Things. What's his name? Gaten Matarazzo, I think is how you say it. Matarazzo. Anyway, Gaten. And so Honor is figuring out a way, like, so she doesn't know for sure where she's at on things. She thought she'd be head and shoulders above everybody else because she's been allowing this creeper to basically hit on her this whole time. but now she's not sure. So she comes up with this scheme on how she's basically going to manipulate and sabotage the other 3 students. That's the premise of the movie. Yes, it is that cringy. It is a horrible premise, and it's terrible. Before you get too far away from me or you want to give up, let me say this, though. Unlike the film Not Okay, which is also on Hulu, and that I did this horrible review on, that ridiculous film, this film has a journey for Honor. She actually has like an emotional roller coaster that she goes through. I'm not saying it saves the film, but at least there's something. It's a better film than the other one. Let's stay there. We're going to continue. But she has these really cringy lines. Let me get back to some of the details. So, for instance, you can't say sympathetic without saying pathetic, because she just looks down on everyone. She has these 2 little toady girls who basically do her bidding. Like, it's just really awful. Awful, right? So, anyway, she manipulates the situation so that the drama club decides to do Kennedy's play. So now Kennedy is overwhelmed and overworked to do this play. She's in over her head because these kids don't take it serious. And she comes up with a way to manipulate the situation so that she ends up having to make costumes. So now she doesn't do well on one of her tests. She manipulates the situation because she realizes that Travis, even though he's hot and has a hot girlfriend, he's actually gay. Okay, he's scoping out somebody's butt or something. So she's manipulating the drama club to get Travis, because Travis will bring in basically people to watch their play, right? So she's manipulated this whole situation, and she's done that, and it basically creates the downfall of these kids in her mind, and then she targets Michael, who's the nerdy kid. That's Dustin. If I say Dustin or Michael, you're just gonna have to keep up, because it's just Dustin. Until the twist. There's a twist. There's always twists. And sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. There you go. She sends the toadies to go follow him. Like, basically, he lives in the projects. He lives in like a foster home, right? That's pretty much right. And he'll only study at her house. And she starts like flirting on it. Like, it was so gratuitous. Like, she's on her bed on her belly with her legs up with her stockings, and she's just leaning in and all the stuff to flirt with this poor nerdy kid, right? And that's what you're kind of led on. And then you see this this play unfolding, and the actress is terrible. And once Travis is involved, they come up with this way to flip it around, because the girlfriend thinks Travis is like scoping or scooping on some other girl because they kiss in the play. And instead they come up with this plan. Well, Gary will play the girl. Like, it's a throwback to like Shakespeare. Like, oh my God, there'll be like a gay kiss. It's so progressive. It's so thanks. And Honor, no, is it Honor? I think Honor does. She finds a way to reach out to the, no. Kennedy does, I think, right? The LGBTQ sponsor. I don't know. It's probably in my notes. I'll find it. So anyway, it's all of this cringy teacher stuff. Anytime that the Calvin is involved, he actually gets Honor to go to the concert, and then he's going to try to roofie her, or she's going to roofie him. No, she steals roofies, right? I don't know. It's a mess. It's such a mess. It's all deplorable stuff of manipulating other people to do things, right? And she's starting to feel guilty at one point, right? Because Kennedy gets a B and she starts to feel bad, but then she thanks Honor. Like, she said, you've changed my life, and I appreciate it. Like, I'm enjoying the play. I'm enjoying the connection to humans. I matter. She was invited to go on one of their little outings. She was always excluded, right? And Travis basically comes out, and the dad's like, yeah, I knew. I'm not sure how dad knew, by the way, because he thinks, I knew since you were 5. I didn't know if previews as 5-year-olds are coming out to their dads, but whatever. It's more about, those two are sort of like, they become these really likable characters and major positive things, and then you're left with Michael. And what's she going to do with Michael? And she keeps trying to figure out how to level up with Michael, because he's not taking the bait and having negative affected grades. He still gets like an A+. And he's on to her, like, that she's pretending. I think he kisses her, and she doesn't know what to do with that. And then it kind of moves to the next level where it becomes like this weird sneaking in the house, showing him this rich person's house. I fantasize about being rich and whatever. She's kind of thrown for a loop, but then at the end of the day, she's like, wow. And she feels like she can let her hair down and actually be a high schooler, right? Anyway, sadly, she's kind of following for Michael, and that affects her grades. And she doesn't care. She's rattled. So, yeah, a boy. How progressive. The boy undid the girl. The super strong feminist girl is undone by puppy love. I was like, I don't know this film knows what it's doing. So, and then I'm like, well, is Dustin getting the girl? Like, is he actually getting the girl here? This is really crazy. What is actually happening? And then she has this great little rant about freedom. And I feel like it's like a whole new world. I've never had a boyfriend before and blah, blah, blah. And Michael stands up to some bully for the first time or something. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. We're going to have this sort of like arc. This is where we're going, right? And they have like this little puppy love text. And, then you've got, Creeper Teacher. He's still out there. We don't really quite know what's going on. And anyway, it all turns because Michael skipped school. We don't know what happened. We don't know what's going on. So she's headed over to the foster home, and then it becomes clear that that's not where he lives. And he lives in a wealthy house. He's basically played 4D chess. He's the rich kid. His parents are alive. His mom's there at the house when Honor shows up. And he's basically manipulated her the whole time. And then when they went into that rich house, it was actually his house. He was hiding photos and manipulating her. And he says, oh, I'm a nerd, but I'm not a good person. And I'm like, wow. The nerd become the villain in this movie. He's like, wait a minute. I thought the nerd was getting the girl. Now the nerd is the bad guy. I'm like, wow. So the problem is it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I actually asked, like, didn't anybody bother just to look up what Michael's name was and realize who lived in what houses or something? Why do we trail them? Like it's the 1970s or 50s or something. It's so weird. It's like Stand By Me. It's like just Google their address or something. I don't know. Anyway, can't get too heady with movies these days. Michael's a complete jerk. He thinks he's won it over. He thinks he's manipulated everything because honors grades have fallen. Kennedy, Travis, so he's going to be the one that's going to get this thing right. But a twist with that too, because when the teacher Creeper was there, he was kind of like hitting on her and she recorded it. So she kind of flips it on its head to say no. But anyway, because she's had her heart broken, she has a little heart-to-heart with mom over the bread, and dad finishes the backyard project, and it's actually sweet. And Honor seems like she's made a good turning point. She seems like she's been a good person. Like she's may have been changed by some of this, right? And then, of course, Kennedy and Travis show up with Gary. And they're like, oh, you got to come to dress rehearsal. Why are you not there, girl? Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. And I will say, Kennedy has a great joke about sweaty balls in the Jeep, which made me laugh, by the way. I didn't laugh a lot. It's sort of like a smirk kind of movie rather than a laugh out loud. Maybe it's people devise a comedy or being way generous. So it cuts to the play. And it was like over the top cringe because Honor has to have her fourth wall. Well, didn't I mention it was a musical? I'm like, oh God, no, please, no. So I don't know if they thought this would be fun to do. It's Hamilton, right? Yay. No. It was just like, no, I don't care. I didn't. It's like this. It's this over the top feminist tripe that men don't have to choose between love and power. Why must a woman? But they're a gay couple, and I'm like, oh God, make it stop. The movie had a good spot. And she's like, oh, I always thought I was Bloody Mary, and I thought I was so clever, and I hated this place, but I had to leave, and the only thing I needed was just to escape my narcissism. It's about me. Me. It's not. I'm not a narcissist though. I'm not anymore. It's not about me. It's about being selfless because it's not me. It's everybody else, right? Yeah. It's like, oh my gosh. She's like, I didn't want to get hurt, but I did. I had to love everybody else so they could love me. I'm like, oh no, come on. Yeah, it's all about me. But it's not. It's about them. But it's about me. I love being loved. I love them. I love them so they can love me because I had to make them love. It's like, oh God. And it's like she does the thing with Michael and she says she wants Kennedy to get the letter to go to Harvard. And she's just like, she's so happy. And it's like, I just don't. It had a journey and it had a positive, and then Honor is still like this horrible narcissist. It's just now like covered up in some whipped cream or something. Like it's got some ranch dressing on it, right? It's still crap. It just has this little layer that's not, because in this little spot we had a redemption arc and we made everybody better. But no, we didn't really, because we had to have this stupid montage. We had to have this stupid freaking, I don't know. And by the way, the song at the end, like what is with this song? Who chose this song about um being alone and love comes in, but then it's like effing up and it's like all this cursing. I'm like, what the heck? What is wrong with you people? This movie, there's this little piece of the movie that's pretty good. All of this is hard to get through. And then when you get to the good part, they have to put this end to remind you that it has to be crap. So that's kind of the movie. So it's mostly crap with a little piece that's good. So I don't know if that sprinkles on the turd or maybe it's not as big of a turd because it's not as bad as Not Okay was. That was terrible. So that's Honor Society. I don't know. Maybe you watch this film. Maybe you have your own opinion. Performances are fine. I mean, she's kind of likable in ways, and she's also witchy when she needs to be in ways. So all of that was fine. All the rest of the cast is just serviceable stuff. They pull off their roles. There's no big speeches or anything that showcases anything. I hate the marketing because they have all these photos with Gaten on there, like little Dustin's on there with his little eyes, like, oh my God, I'm the nerd. I'm the popular nerd. I'm the Stranger Things kid. It's like, come see my movie. And I'm like, you really are less. I mean, there's a twist, but the other two kids, or even Gary, like, where are they not included? Anyway, they got the shaft in this marketing deal. So, anyway, tell me what you think. I don't know, good, bad, or otherwise. There it is. I'm Pops. That's the review. Thanks.